Hey there, Vikings Nation. Get ready to dive deep into the Skull State of Mind. Join our host, D. Woods, as he shares his unfiltered takes on all things Vikings, from expert game analysis to player controversies and everything in between. If you love the Vikings for better or worse, then you've come to the right place. So grab a drink and let's talk all things purple and gold. This is the Skull State of Mind podcast.
Welcome to the Skull State of Mind podcast. I'm your host, D. Woods. And on this episode, we're going to talk about the 53-man roster. We're going to talk about the direction of the team. We're going to dibble and dab a little bit about, trending topics that's going on around the league. And also, I'm going to give you my prediction of the season. How many wins, how many losses, heartbreak, whatever. We're going to go through the schedule, and I am going to give you my schedule prediction. I wanted to wait until the roster, was complete, at the end of training camp, because I didn't really want to give you guys a way too early schedule prediction. I wanted to wait to this right time right here to where I can, the roster set, we kind of understand like what the philosophy is going on. So there we go. I'm going to do that at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for the schedule prediction. So let's dive into it. Around the league, okay, I think one of the biggest things going on, not biggest things, one of the biggest headlines going on right now is probably Jonathan Taylor with the Colts and Nick Bosa with the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk about Jonathan Taylor first. This is how I feel about the Jonathan Taylor situation. I told you guys before, I believe that running backs should get paid equal value. I don't understand why teams are not playing running backs like they used to. I mean, they get beat up more than a lot of different positions on the field. And I just think like, hey, if the man is asking for so much, kind of meet him halfway. But this is the thing that kind of like bothers me a little bit when it's concerning like the Jonathan Taylor situation. So if you don't want to pay him top money for a running back, okay, that's fine. But why, when you're trying to trade for him, you want the highest value available? Like, you can't live in two worlds. I just think you got to think about it like this. Like, if you feel like he's not worth the top-notch contract, then maybe when you're negotiating for trading him, you shouldn't be trying to get top-notch trade assets for him, because you're not even offering him the money that he feels like he deserves. I just don't get it. And that's just one thing that I have about like concerning any type of trade. I just feel like at the end of the day, if you want to trade somebody away from your team, like you want to get rid of that headache, or you see another asset somewhere else. So you're like, all right, cool. That's what I want. And I think we get too overwhelmed with who won the trade and this person got holes and this GM doesn't know what we're doing. Me personally, it's like this. If I have something on my team, let's just say a guy like Jalen Reagor or whatever, right? No, let's not lose Reagor. Let's say I got a guy like Oli Udo, whatever, right? Swing tackle, whatever, right? So I understand that my linebacker position needs help. Like, I can't find anybody in free agency. I got to trade. So however I get my trade done, if I get back what I feel is what I want back, then I'm okay with it. And that's just how I think some of these GMs actually think when they're trying to make these moves and they're trying to make the transaction. They're okay with what they get back, but you get the media, you get the pundits on ESPN, you get all these other guys that saying, "Oh, they could have got this. They could." Well, I didn't want that. That's what I wanted. I mean, you see it all the time in like fantasy football where you see guys trade and it's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you traded that." Well, that's what I wanted. Like, that's just how I feel like sometimes it has to go. Like, I think people get so caught up in, oh, I gotta win this trade or whatever. But let's just get back on topic with the Jonathan Taylor situation. Like, If he's a headache and you don't want him on your team, then trade him. Stop trying to get a haul and trade him because you're already saying that you don't want to pay him. Let the next team pay him and maybe get like a second or third and call it a day. Move on. That's just how I feel about it. Why keep, doing this song and dance or whatever? I think the shit is getting old to me. Like, it's just, if you don't want him on a team, he doesn't want to be there, trade him. Okay? Stop trying to have these outrageous demands that you want to. No, just trade him. Get the best value you can get and move on. But let's just get off of Jonathan Taylor for the situation. I'm just sorry because it's just like, it just really bothers me, man, with teams like you're not even offering him top money, but you want top draft picks back. Like you cannot live in two worlds. All right, so let's get on to Nick Bosa. All right, Nick Bosa, holdout, hasn't been in camp all season. It's whatever it is. I mean, I think what you're starting to see now in recent times or whatever, like guys are like you seeing the COVID guys hold out basically. Like these guys are drafted, back then or whatever, and now their contract is up. But I mean, what can San Francisco actually get for Bosa? I mean, they only got a fourth round pick for Trey Lance last week, so I don't know. But I heard some things of saying that he's actually going to show up and play, in this, in week one, which to me is dangerous. Like, I understand you working out what you working out and you got your own physical trainers, whatever, but you're never can really simulate what's going on the football field. And for you to not be in any camp or any participation throughout the whole off season, I mean, it's kind of a liability for you to go out there and actually try to play a full game. I hope the Niners kind of work things out. I think Bosa is probably one of, if not the best, or one of the best pass rushers in the league. So let's see what happens. But I'm not really sure of what they can get for Bosa on the open market. I kind of heard that he's trying to get Aaron Donald money. I mean, that's the thing right there. Aaron Donald money. I mean, Aaron Donald is special. Like, even though I would say he might be at the end of his career, now, but when Aaron Donald was in his heyday, like interior defensive lineman wrecking havoc, like that shit is crazy. Like, I feel like what the Rams gave Donald was everything that he deserved. But that's the thing about contracts. It's like, well, he's a defensive player. I'm a defensive player. I'm going to compare my new contract to what he got. And that's what I want to be in the range. Hopefully, like I said, the 49ers can work some things out and they can bring Bosa on a deal that's good for both parties. But we're going to see. I mean, we still got Chris Jones holding out too. I mean, we got to see. The Kansas City Chiefs is like, we already know Pat Mahomes is the one that makes that team go. So sorry, Chris Jones, you're gonna have to work something out, man. So let's get to the Vikings. The 53-man initial roster was released on Tuesday. I mean, we had a couple of surprises here or there, but me personally, I don't really get too high or too low on what happens in the preseason and training camp because, like, I believe that certain players are brought in, you know, to just camp bodies. That's what some players are. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in like, oh my God, this guy's flashing, and oh my God, he might make the team. But like management and the coaching staff already like going into the situation, already like kind of like know what they're gonna do before these guys even, sign into the training camp or whatever. That's what they do, you know, behind the scenes, and that's the kind of strategy that they don't actually share with everybody else. But so I don't get too high on low. I mean, I'm happy for guys like Ivan Pace, um, Najee, like all those guys that went undrafted to kind of make the team. Like that's dope. That's what's up. That's what's up. But The real games has not been played yet, so we're gonna see what happens. But let's just dissect a little bit of the roster. Like, I don't want to like go into each position because I understand like there's been a lot of videos and a lot of posts like dissecting like each position. I just want to kind of like go over it real quick, what my thoughts was. So um the six safeties doesn't really bother me a lot because I understand like the safeties, the cornerbacks, the linebackers, like some of all these guys within this defense, I feel, I'm saying I feel because we don't know yet. The real games haven't been played yet. I feel that they're going to be interchangeable. They like those three positions are going to be a group to where it depends on the package and who you're playing against. Like if the Vikings are going to be in big nickel or three safeties, whatever you call it, then you're going to need, you're going to need three backups for those three starters. So it is what it is. But some of those backups can actually play corner. Some of those safeties can actually play linebacker. So, we're going to see. We're going to see how it goes. But let's talk about some of the signings that the Vikings did off of waivers. Hakeem Adedeji, offensive lineman. David Quinsbury, another offensive lineman. I like those two moves. I just feel like you can't have enough good linemen on your team because you never know what's going to happen, and it's always good to like try to develop guys in the background too. So let's see what these guys can do. Let's see if these guys are hungry and what they can bring to the team because, I mean, seems like the Vikings snatched them up pretty quick. So let's move on to Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor got cut the day after the final roster was made. I can't I can't say that I'm disappointed, and I can't like I'm not even saying that I'm surprised because I just feel like what Keenan McCardell has been doing with the receiver group, developing guys or shit like that. Like I think he's done a tremendous job, but I just kind of think like with Rager, you he kind of got like stuck in between because it's like, yeah, he can play gunner on special teams, he can be the punt returner, that's fine, but like to put him on the 53-man roster again, like what are you going to give this team on the offensive side of the ball? I'm not saying like one or two plays every 4 games. I'm like, are you going to give the offense something consistent? Like, can you go out there and do that consistently? And I think that's what it came down to where, you have other guys probably cheaper that can do the same thing and probably could give you something on the offensive line, on the offensive side of the ball, you know, more consistently. Sorry, excuse me. That's not my words today. But that's what I think it came down to. I wish Jalen Reagor the best. That's the thing with Jalen Reagor, like when the drafts, started, like I was higher on him than I was on Jefferson. And I admit that, like I was wrong. Some people out there don't want to admit that, but they just, oh, JJ, I had JJ all day. A lot of us didn't because a lot of us really thought JJ was just a slot receiver. So Jalen Reagor, wish you the best. Hopefully you sign on to another team. But I think in a couple of videos before, and you guys probably saw me on social media or lives on different channels or whatever, I've been stressing my concerns about the Vikings actually, like getting a veteran running back in the building. And they did. They signed Myles Gaskin from the Miami Dolphins. He's being reunited with Brian Flores, which is pretty cool. I like that. I mean, I know Gaskin is not like top notch running back or whatever, but he can give you a veteran presence in the locker room and in the running back room because we still don't know or understand what's really going on with Kane Wangu. Like, is he going to be injured for the first 4 games or is he done for the season? I actually saw on ESPN it had the IR on him. Like, I don't know if they know something, before we do, or is news hasn't break yet or haven't even saw it. But if you think about it like that, like the running backs that made the roster was only, you know, Madison, Kane, Chandler, Ham. And it's kind of like, yeah, CJ Ham's a fullback. So, Wangu's not playing because he has injury concerns. So you really was going to the first game of the season with two running backs. So I I like the pickup a lot. I still feel that Gaskin has some burst left, and he can kind of be a little change of back, and he can kind of help, Chai Chandler along. I like the pickup. I understand it. It's not a big name. It's not the Kareem Hunt or these other guys that was out there, but I understand that move. So let's move on. So let's talk about the direction of the team. So going forward, like with the season starting, couple of couple of days, a week or two, or whatever, however you want to say it. But I want to see what this coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball is going to change to make this offense better and more consistent. I mean, they won 13 games last year. I understand that they are not going to win the close games that they won this year because if you think about it, the last year of Zimmer, they lost those close games. So I want to see this team actually come into the season being more prepared and so a difference in offense. And when I'm saying a difference in offense is I mean Kevin O'Connell. I want Kevin O'Connell's play calling to be a whole lot better this season. He can improve from last season because the thing about it with last season that kind of like irked me and agitated me a lot, it was like that first drive, they will go down the field, score a touchdown, have a little another drive here and there, whatever, field goal. But it seems like during the second quarters and the third quarters, the offense disappeared. Like they went ghost. And then they show back up in the fourth quarter. And I just feel like you can't build on that too much because you're always trying to play catch up. Like I just feel like Kevin O'Connell's play calling this season, I want him to be 100% aggressive all the time, like pedal to the metal, like be on other teams' throats. That's what I want to see. And I want to see different wrinkles in the offense that we haven't seen. Like we got Oliver now. I want to see, what he can do. I mean, I want to see. Let me back myself up because I was gonna say I want to see what TJ Hawkinson could actually do with a off season and training camp because the guy didn't do shit in training camp, so we can't even say that. So it is what it is with him. But I just want to see more wrinkles. I'm excited about Addison. So that's that's the offensive side of the ball. I really want Kevin O'Connell to be better with his play calling and be more consistent on his aggressiveness concerning the offense. And also, I want him to run the ball better in certain situations. If it's 3rd and 2, don't have Kirk dropping back for a long ass pass. Just get the 2 yards, start a new series. Like those are the kind of stuff like I don't want to see. Like I don't want to see any jump passes from the running back in the end zone. I mean the red zone. I don't want to see that. Stop being too cute. Let's play football now. Now, the defensive side of the ball, I'm not sure how I can say it's like the defense was so bad last year. Like the only place they can go is up. I understand Brian Flores is coming in with a different philosophy and his aggression and stuff like that. I think we're going to kind of see what this defense is going to be in the first couple of games. Excuse me. In these first couple of games, and hopefully they can get a lot of pressure. I mean, when teams get pressure, it makes it easy on the defensive backs. And if you have a defensive back, situation to where guys are young and they're developing, the best thing they need is a pass rush. So we're gonna see. Like I'm kind of reserved about it because I'm not gonna say like this defense is gonna be top 10, but I do believe they can be like mid 20s, lower 20s. So because I believe in Brian Flores. All right. So Let's get into the Minnesota Vikings schedule prediction. Now, I understand I could have did a schedule prediction long time ago, but I really wanted to wait until the 53-man roster was done and training camp, was over. I just really wanted to see like what changes this team was going to bring and players coming in, players going out. Like I wanted to like see like so I can kind of get gauge of okay, this is what's going to happen. This is the kind of defense that we're going to run. This is the offense. Like I kind of felt it would be way too early to give a schedule prediction, just when the schedule comes out. So let's go through it. Nope, I'm going to give you a number first. That's what I'm going to do. All right. I think the Minnesota Vikings in the 2023-2024 season will go 12-5. That's right. 12-5. Last year, 13-4. This year they dialed it back with 12-5. So I'm gonna do a rapid fire of the schedule real quick. I'm just gonna say you win, loss, whatever, right? Versus Tampa Bay, win. At the Eagles, loss. Versus the Chargers, win. At Carolina, win. Versus the Chiefs, loss. At the Bears, win. Versus the 49ers, win. At the Packers, win. At the Falcons, win. Versus the Saints, win. At the Broncos, win. Versus Chicago, loss. At the Raiders, win. At the Bengals, loss. Versus Detroit, loss. Versus Green Bay, win. Closing the season out with Detroit. At Detroit, win. Now, I feel like some of those divisional games we might lose, at home. We might lose away. And that's only between the Bears and the Lions. I should say they're going straight out sweep the Packers this year, straight up. Even though I have this idea about Jordan Love, I think Jordan Love, might have developed into a quality quarterback. We don't know yet. I just don't want to dismiss the boy because it's kind of like we ain't had no tape on him in the past 3 years. That was the last time we had any consistent tape on Jordan Love was like 3 years ago. So I can't say he's a bust or he sucks because he's just been backing up Aaron Rodgers, whatever. But so I kind of feel like between the Bears and the Lions, we're probably going to split, which is fine. But the major losses on the schedule, to me, looks like Philadelphia, Kansas City, one in Chicago, one in Detroit, and Cincinnati. Other than that, man, I'm telling you, man, I really think it's a 12-5 season. So, that's how I'm going to end the episode. I really appreciate you guys for, watching the videos, commenting on the videos. Shout out to everybody out there who, came into my first live. I really appreciate it. I was really nervous. I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm learning as I go, but I really appreciate you guys, coming in on live and helping me out. It's been dope, but follow us on all social media. We got Twitter, X page, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, the TikTok is coming along pretty slow, but it's a work in progress. But thank you. Skol, baby.
Thanks for tuning into the Skull State of Mind podcast. Take a beat to give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Join us next time, and don't forget to follow Skull State of Mind on all social media platforms to keep up with all the news and updates. Thanks again for listening, and as always, Skull Vikings!